Hi.
Hi. Not even funny.
Why? What's going on?
Hey, Jonathan.
Yes.
Hey, see life.
I'm
Hi.
listening.
I can't see you by the
You can't see me.
Yeah.
I see. I see. It's good to see you. Huh?
You
It's been a
too. You
long
too. It's been a
time.
really long time.
Yeah.
I think you went and you disappeared, or maybe
I went. I went where and disappeared.
you just went quiet. I think maybe you just like dived into your work, and then you forgot where you came from.
There's no way I would ever forget where I came from. I mean, come on. It's
Exactly.
a,
I
it's
want to know how you
it's
forgot
always a
where you came from.
it's always a constant reminder. Plus, I
Yeah.
have people I always talk with, who help me speak Turkish. So I've never always forgotten
Oh,
that I'm.
you actually do.
Yeah, yeah, I do. And then from time to time, when I want to say something, I feel like speaking in Turkish. I mean, Turkish is just
Oh,
coming
yeah,
out. So I
that
say,
happens. Yeah.
Jonathan, whatever you do, you are still Turkish at heart. So there's no way I could ever forget.
Do you have any plans
There's
of
no-
coming back?
For now, uh, only God knows.
You're so right, by the way. I think that's the only answer I have nowadays. Actually, my dad says God is big. Ya Mungu ni mengi. Like,
Hmm.
any answer he gives to anyone, it's like God is big. Anyway, I'm so
Yeah,
sorry I
yeah.
lost the other. I didn't lose it. I have it, but I cannot be heard when we speak. Okay.
Hmm.
So
So does that mean that there was a problem with the recording device from your end or
so I
something?
was screen
Maybe.
recording. You remember I was screen recording?
Uh-huh.
So screen recording was screen recording. It wasn't recording me. It was recording you. Wait, let me close this door.
Oh,
You get now.
yeah, I understand. Oh, shoot.
But
Okay,
I
so
think
as in, if it was a presentation you were making, that would have made a lot of sense, right?
yeah. So
Uh-huh.
it ended
I
up
understand.
just recording you, your answers, and then I started trying to like write altias, and it wasn't working because it was such a nice
Mm.
interview, and I'm really sorry for doing this to you again. And you need to test
Let's
for
let's pray.
corona.
Let's. I wish you could have sent that one to me so that at least we'll be reminded of the salient things we said and try to bring them back in.
No, I
But then
did.
let's see
I
how.
listened to it. I listened to it, so don't worry.
Okay,
So I'll
okay,
just
that's good.
direct you.
That's okay. Okay.
So, Jonathan, this will
Let's pray
sound
for
like a
things.
deja vu, but let's start.
That's all right. I like good deja vus. They help.
Eh?
Yeah, I
Okay.
said I like good deja vus. They help. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
let's do this.
So, Jonathan, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, okay. So nowadays I pride myself in adding the name doctor to my my name. I'm Jonathan Opong, but then I call
Dr.
myself Doctor.
Jonathan Opong!
Right?
Hey!
Yes. And
Yes.
that is not out of pride or anything. It's actually out of a sense of humility and recognizing that it has been a long journey this far. I studied in Turkey, as you already know, but for the benefit of those who might be listening in, I studied in Turkey in Kırıkkale University. For that matter, it was about 1.5 hours away from Ankara, the capital. And I graduated there in 2018. Moved back to Ghana. Currently, I'm working in a hospital in the northern part of Ghana.
So, right now, you've
And
actually started working? You finished your
Oh yeah,
residency.
So no, residency, not yet, not
Not
yet
residency,
residency.
sorry, your
No,
internship,
no.
the
Yeah,
the Ghanaian internship.
yeah. So I'm done with the Ghanaian internship. Took the exam, the registration exam. Got inaugurated. Did you say inaugurated? No, got inducted.
Congratulations.
And then thank you very much. So after the induction, then we were posted to start working in our respective places. So I'm currently working in a hospital in the northern part of Ghana, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for the friends I have, grateful for friends like you who are always reminding me of how far God has brought me. Yeah. So that's a little bit about me. Yeah.
You say thank you to me. Also, you thank you to you. You're like, I really look up to you because I see myself and I see my journey in your journey, because I feel like if you are able to finish what God sent you to do here, then it means we'll also be able to do that. And it's just like, it's hope. Then there is a little bit of faith added to that. Then you have a whole package.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We thank God. I'm just grateful to God. We give God all the glory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us, like, around which years were you in Turkey?
Okay, so I was in Turkey, I think roughly from 2011, 2011, and I left Turkey in 2018. So yeah, I
Those was
was in Turkey for those years. Yeah.
only 7 years.
Yeah, 7 to 8 years, so to say. Yeah, 7 to 8. Yeah.
Wow, I'm already hitting that
So,
your mark. I thought I would be here for like 6 years, and then God did his thing. And I keep asking him, like, why do you give people breakthroughs and you don't give me? But then I keep getting reminded that everyone has his own time, and everything works for the good of those who love the Lord. And he knew me before
everything
he
works
formed me
for
in
the
my mother's
perfect
womb.
good.
All those things.
Amen, sister.
Yeah.
Amen, sister. Everything works. I like what you said. Everything works for perfect good to those who love God.
Yeah.
And everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own journey that they take. God is taking you from one place to the other. You just have to follow. Yeah. Yeah.
You did your medicine in Turkish. So can you please take us through
please.
your first year from the moment you got here to the end? I know it's a deja vu, but please.
Sure. Wait, so how many minutes do I have to talk about this?
You
because
go
it's a very
ahead.
long
No, you're not restricted. Just go ahead. We will have a conversation. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, my I don't even know where to start from, but so right from when I came to Turkey in 2011, I think we had to do the Turkish language. Of course, I'm from a place where we don't speak Turkish, and I was the first Turkish word that I heard before I came to Turkey out of my little sense of diligence was to try to find out at least how they say good morning. And I thought I knew it. So I learned that. I sort of memorized it, and I brought it to Turkey thinking, oh, Jonathan, way to go. You got it. And then
okay.
and then I got to Turkey and I said it, and people were like, huh? What?
How did you say it?
I said Guneiden. I said Gune.
Wait, by the way, before I came, I knew my university name, okay? And it's Hacettepe. But when I was going for the interview at the embassy, and I met this Turkish guy, and he was like, yeah, where are you going? I was like, Hakatepe. And the guy was like, Hakatepe. I was like, hey, yeah, that place, yeah.
That's
so you're not alone.
Yeah. So it was so bad, but that first year was quite interesting. It was a roller coaster of a time, because I had to learn quickly that I was on a different trajectory. I was in a different place, and I had so much more to learn. I began to appreciate the depth of the culture. I began to appreciate that learning a different language was more than we thought it was. And I'm grateful for the opportunity we had, because the Turkish people usually say that bir dil, bir kişi, iki dil, iki kişi. That means that one language, one person, two languages, two people. You understand?
Yeah.
So we picked up Tomer is Türkçe Öğretim Merkezi, which is the Turkish language center. They were very good. They had really good teachers who taught us. There was this particular teacher who I will always be amazed that he was an old man. I remember his name. He was called Hadi Ben-Hur. And he taught us in Ankara University. This guy, I did not understand a word of English.
Wait, in Ankara University?
Yeah. But it was a Gulbashi. Far away.
Okay.
And this guy did not understand a word of English, or at least he pretended he didn't. And he would teach us till we understood. I can always remember the passion with which he taught us in Turkish. If you wanted to say on top of the table, this old man who was quite high, he was tall, not high. He was tall. This guy would stand on a table to demonstrate on top, like Masanin Üstünde. Masanin Üstünde. He would stand on the table and demonstrate that to us. So we started lessons, and you go from Temel 1, Temel 2, Temel 3, on the way until we got to a point where we graduated from the Turkish language school, from Temel. Then after that, we started the first year. This is quite interesting.
Wait.
Sure.
Your video keeps like freezing.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if you have like a place that the internet is better. If not, it's okay.
I might have to connect my antenna to the internet. I'm using Wi-Fi at home. And is it still freezing?
Yeah, it's like it makes sudden movements. Like when you make sudden movements, it freezes.
Okay, then I'll not make sudden movements. Let me try to talk to you in a moment.
Can you connect? Just connect the antenna.
Okay, let me try to connect the antenna.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So you were telling us about your first year.
Yeah. So I think just about when we were about to get done with Tomer, we were, I think, Miliating Bakanle brought us some forms that if you wanted to learn in English, you could. So we should select.
What happened to you? No.
Just listen to me.
Okay.
Oh my God. Is that if we wanted to choose in English, we could choose. And we all knew that would mean that you have to get TOEFL and all that. So some of us went ahead and did our TOEFL exams, and by God's grace, we got good marks. And then we did the selections. Of course, we chose Hacettepe, we chose this, we chose that. We wanted to study in English. And we got the surprise of our lives when they posted the schools we were to go and start learning in. And I saw Kerekale University. No, it's not Kerekale
when
University.
You guys
it was It wasn't Kerekale University. I would have been happy. It was Kerekale University City Faculties.
Yes, you're doing it in Turkish. Welcome to life. You came with nearly 18. You didn't come with Yetebe.
It was I think it was Millie team in the beginning, and then later it was switched to Yetebe. You understand?
Yeah, because us when we were coming, we came like
you already knew where you were coming.
Yeah. And the fool that I was, I chose to study in Turkish. The fool that I was.
No. You can't say that. You can't say that because you didn't know how it was going to turn out to be.
I mean,
You didn't know
I
how it was
felt
going to turn out to
like
be. So you
it
can't.
would give me a better chance to learn the culture and the people,
Yeah,
because I really
yeah. And
wanted to reach
it was not.
out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was not a misplaced. It was not a misplaced choice. Although you didn't know at the time that
Yeah.
it was going to be more challenging than that.
Mm.
And I didn't know. Of course, I hadn't heard the name of that school before. I was like, which place is this? I
Oh my
didn't know,
God.
and that means that I had to go and study 100% in Turkish, and
Yes,
that
it
meant that
was.
I had to restructure. I had to restructure my thinking. Oh my God, it was challenging. It was challenging, and we thought that we could change things and try to get an English faculty,
Mm.
but then the more time went on, the more we realized that, man, this was not going to work. And some people were able to change their schools.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
know how
During
they
your
did,
time, there were
but
people
we're
who were
happy for
able
them.
to change.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how they did that. I don't know whether I didn't have the connections. I don't know whether I didn't have the zeal to try to change it, because
Mm.
I wrote letters here and there, and it's like it just wasn't going to work. Plus, later people were saying that it's better to study in Turkish because you'd understand better, you'd be able to speak with the Turkish people better and all that. And the lecturers are all in Turkish, and
Mm.
anyway. So we started first year. Thank God for passion. Not passion, but thank God for enthusiasm, because
Mm.
I I always wanted to be on top,
Mm.
and that sort of fueled my actions. Because remember, we didn't take to Mary just teach you just the basics. It
Basic
won't take you
Turkish.
far.
Mm.
Yes, basic Turkish. It won't take you too far. And now imagine going to study Turkish at a level as much as a medical student,
Mm.
and which this is a level that Turkish students spend so much of their time studying to get to.
This is
They have to get
actually their
as much.
language. They were born into this language. They have been learning in this language.
Thank you very
And
much.
by the time
Thank
you're
you
getting
very
to your
much.
first year, no one considers that you have learned this language for 8 months. And
Thank
like,
you.
I
Thank you. Say
remember
and say
my
again.
first class, I just heard Merhaba, hoş geldin. Like, hi, welcome. And that was the end for me. Like, I remember going back home and crying my eyes out because it was a biochemistry class. The only thing I could remember was her writing things on the wall, on the whiteboard, and I couldn't understand
Yeah.
anything she said. And for me, I think that was the end for me. For the first year, that was the end.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 It was really crazy, Paulette, because I had to now, when I get home, and I thank God for the zeal at the time. When I get home, I'd have to take a dictionary,
Mm.
okay, a Turkish English dictionary, and then go online, try to understand the subject material online,
Mm, mm, mm.
then look through the notes of the lectures, try to understand what word is this, what's the meaning of this. Because mind you, Turkish class didn't teach me what a cell was or what tissue was or all those things. So I had to now find out all of them, and I'm going to take an exam at the end of how many weeks,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and all these words are going to be repeated there. So and I can't take it in a dictionary,
But you know, the funny thing
But
is, for other departments, you know, the way the teachers usually walk around the exam room, you can call the teacher
Mm.
and ask about a word. But I don't know if your faculty allows that, because for me in Hadisepe, I've never tried that and I wouldn't want to try it because I know I'll be ashamed. Like I will be.
Well, it is nothing I thought about. If I didn't understand something, that was probably because the sentence wasn't making sense, or I thought there was a mistake. Sometimes there are typographical errors, and
Mm,
so you have to call them to come and rectify it. But for me to call a lecturer and say I don't understand this word, I felt,
mm,
why am I there?
mm,
Why would I have to call you to come and explain it? So that first year was crazy, was really crazy. And our first examination, I can remember, all glory to God, I passed. I passed. I was like, My God. And the pass mark was 60. And I think I passed. I got over 60%. And I was so grateful to God. But at the same time, I felt disappointed because I think I had this unrealistic expectation of myself that I wanted to be on top. And I forgot to tell you that I was in a whole new environment.
Because I think where we come from, of course, we are the top. So you're expecting that chain to continue. So I think for you, for example, you got a 60 and above. For me, I didn't. And for me, I think that was the first time in my life I was experiencing failure. And so
imagine.
it took a really, really, really long time for me to settle down to my reality and say, okay, I'm not going to be the first, but now I really, really just have to fight to get the pass mark. And until date, that is the worst feeling. Like trying to get to the pass mark, it's the worst.
Trying to get to the
because you're doing double. I'm not lying. I don't think there's anyone in our faculties who study as much as we do. Because I feel like we have to give double and triple, and because there's a time, the way when your brain is really frozen and your Turkish capacity gets to a point. I don't know if that happens to you. Your Turkish capacity gets to a point, and then everything else looks like Arabic now. So that's when you start going back to English. But then even when you go back to English, those same topics, you will have to go back to them in Turkish, because at the end of the day, your questions are going to be in Turkish. Your Sözlü is going to be in Turkish. So you still have to learn it in Turkish. So I think we do double, even triple.
I remember I would study throughout the night, trying to understand the concept, trying to understand the Turkish aspect of things. So maybe I'll understand it in English and try to read over the notes again in Turkish, read over and over and over until the Turkish part of it was ingrained in my brain. Man, it was not easy. Thank God, at the end of the first year, I passed. And to the glory of God, I was one of the few people out of all the foreigners who had passed into the second year. Now, the second year came with its own issues, because second year was added to it different lectures, different topics we had to take. And it got to a point, I think, that staying away from home so long, I don't know, but I think I began to lose sight of the reason why I was there. And maybe I was beginning to concentrate so much on other things, other non-essential things. And I think maybe a little bit of, I don't know, like I'm trying to make myself accepted to that environment.
Look acceptable, be acceptable, get new friends, be one of those people who go out like everyone else, and you start asking yourself, if everyone else is doing it, why am I not doing it? And I'm in the university and I'm supposed to be having fun. Why am I not? I understand.
Preach on, sister. Preach on, sister. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
I get you.
It was so crazy. I began to forget that I was there because I wanted to be a doctor. And I was concentrating so much on the external factors, so much on how people saw me, so much on how people accepted me, what people thought about me.
I was beginning to bother so much. I still struggle with that. Even though
Paulette, you got to get over it, because let me tell you something. I began to think, it was during that time that there was this Somalian crisis. And the Turkish people were thinking, I don't know, they had this there was this, I thought that everybody who was Black was seen as a poor person. Okay, everybody who was Black was seen as somebody who was coming from a less endowed background. And so I wanted to prove to people that no, I'm not that kind of person. I'm not that. And that was at the expense of my studies, because I would go all out to show people that. Meanwhile, in the first year, that was not my thought. In the first year, I was, Jonathan, you have to be the head and not the tail. You have to be the head and not the tail, you know. And I realized that my studies began to dwindle, and I was not too bothered. And instead of getting the pass mark, I'll be getting lower than the pass mark. I was no longer concentrating that much in class. At the end of the second year, I failed. At the end of the second year, I could not make the pass mark. I think I got 50-something% out of 60, and I needed 60% and over to move to the next level, and I failed. Man, it was a blow. This was the first time that I had repeated a class. My God, it was bad. Depression began to set in. I began to question my self-worth. I began to think, oh my God,
I think
where did I get
this has
myself?
been my journey. Like, this is just, but anyway, I can't explain. You explain it for us, because I
Man,
think for me, because I'm still living inside it, it's not something that is easy to voice.
it was crazy, because I tried to reason out why this had happened to me. I tried to find out, was there anything else I could do? And then I'll begin to get ideas. You could have done this better. You could have. But then when I think about it, I'm like, at the time, what could I have done? It was frustrating. It was frustrating. And then having to start the second year again with my juniors, and then having to constantly see the people I was in the same class with moving ahead of me, and having to face the torture of greeting them and saying hello to them again. My
For me,
God,
it's that, and then there is the fact that because their mentality is usually, okay, we get in here easier and we do not deserve to be here, then that proves to them that, okay, yes, they actually don't deserve to be here. And I think on top of the self-worth, that kills me even more, because I tell myself, I know my worth and I know I deserve to be here, because no one knows where I'm coming from. So the fact that I face these people and you can see it in their eyes that they feel like you do not deserve to be there, or maybe it's just a mentality in my head, that finishes me up. And I feel like I also see it with the teachers. I'm not sure, maybe it's just something that is in my head, but even when I'm faced with, for example, a question, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. My mind tells me, yeah, they feel like you don't deserve to be here. So, and then I go blank. Yeah.
it was crazy. It was crazy. But thank God, people were actually surprised. My lecturers, some of the lecturers who I thank God for so much, were quite concerned. They were like, Jonathan, what happened? Because at a certain point, getting to the end of the second year, at a certain point, I was beginning to think, oh my God, I've come all this while. I came here to study medicine, but so far, I really don't get the concept. So maybe it's good I repeat. Imagine how I used to rationalize staying back. You know, I was like, maybe it's good I repeat, because I feel as if I don't really understand anything that's going on. You know, and then I forgot that there were. I mean,
Jonathan.
to pick up. I began to understand the system. I began to know how to study. I began to push myself into studying again, to get my mind back into medicine, because I was there because of medicine, not because of any other thing. It was still really challenging, because I was still fighting with the fear of speaking out in public.
Wait, I'm losing you. Come on.
Me?
Yeah. Now
Can
I
you
can
hear me?
hear you. Now I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when I was asked the question in class and I was supposed to answer. Sometimes I would know the answer, but the fright, of speaking Turkish and having everybody who was a native Turkish listen to my Turkish, overwhelming. And so sometimes I'll forget what I want to say. I'll still speak out. Sometimes I'll be right because I used to study. I was studying into the night, and so I would know the answer. Sometimes I'll say it.
I've lost you, Jonathan. Jonathan. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So I think getting towards the end of the third year, I began to accept that what was in the past was in the past. What had happened had already happened, and it was going to do me no good to fixate on the past and the so-called failure that had happened. And the more I concentrated on that, the more I was going to tie myself down and not move forward. So I began to accept that everybody has their path. I spoke to people around, people who were elderly, who I thought that wanted my best interest at heart. And they all confirmed that, well, if you fail, doesn't mean you have to be there. You have to bring yourself back up. You have to rise up. You have to move forward. And I also began to understand that everybody has their own pathway. Everybody has their pathway. You can't expect that. You can't compare yourself with other people. You have to compare yourself with yourself, the better you. As in, God made you to be you. Okay, God has deposited so much in you. You have to compare yourself with the you that God planned for you to be, instead of trying to compare yourself with other people, because everybody has their own path. You don't know what they are going through at that particular time. There was also this analogy that helped me out very much. Everybody is in their own circle. They are all moving at a particular time. If you compare yourself with the cycle of someone else, okay, they have gone through and come this far. You are comparing yourself with the current state in which they are. You don't know what they've been through, and so you begin to push yourself down, forgetting that you have your own cycle to go through. And the fact that comparative with someone else you look lower does not necessarily mean that you are lower than that person. We're all born.